rather than trying to rush 20 episodes into a video, I decided that I'd split it into Season 1 and Season 2. Because even though it is only 20 episodes, those 10 episodes are very intense in content delivered, plus the 2 seasons are sort of standalone, with the common thread being Tomas and Marcus. So without further ado, let's talk about The Exorcist Season 1. This stars Alfonso Herrera, Ben Daniels, Gina Davis, and Alan Ruck. And I do want to give praise to Ben Daniels here. I've seen things with him in, but he's never been like the main character or that memorable, unfortunately, in them. But here it shows that if he's given material to work with, he can be memorable. It's not because he's British, it's not because the character's queer, it's because he's portrayed very well. Ben Daniels brings something to Marcus Keene that just elevates it from a character in a show. This feels like a real person. I'm not saying that none of the other cast members feel like real people. Something about Ben Daniels just really stood head and shoulders above other people, even people like Gina Davis, who I've respected for years, and Alan Ruck, who's been in a lot. Although I think he's the most disappointing, strangely enough, in this. I didn't feel that Henry really did much. I mean, he did stuff. I'm not saying that he did nothing, but he's nowhere near as memorable. But I also want to give a quick hat tip as well. I know I didn't mention it at the start, to Robert Emmett Lunny. He plays Pazuzu, or Captain Howdy, credited as the salesman earlier on before we realise who he is. And I loved his transition throughout. I know, the vocal processing, makeup, but everyone who's a demon or is possessed has some of that. There's something about how he's so sleazy, yet also you kind of want to find out what he's selling, if you will. And I love the fact that when we get the reveal that Angela is actually an older Reagan, we see a recreation of a scene from the first one with the Ouija board, but now we can see him. Not just as a weird little flicker in the corner, as happened in the film. And I actually thought when it started, this was going to be like a retelling. So I thought Casey was going to be our Reagan and Angela was going to be Chris, etc. But no, I think when it was announced, and after it'd been out for a while, people had kind of gone, oh, Gina Davis is actually Reagan. I must have seen something about it. I'm not going to claim that I figured it out in episode 1. Because when the name Angela Rance, I was like, you've got the letters for Reagan there. Not McNeil, there's no M in it, but you've definitely got Reagan in there. But I don't think, like I say, that I came up with that on the fly. I genuinely think that was me remembering, when it was revealed the first time. Like, it's probably everywhere in 2016, 2017, that everyone was like, oh my god, it's amazing, she's this. And I think she did well in it. I mean, there was a bit of me that was like, oh, it'd be great if it was Linda Blair, but it would have been obvious then. We'd have been like, you're not Angela, you're Reagan. So I'm going to assume that's why they did it. I haven't looked into it because I don't like to get too detailed in that kind of thing. But I do think it's really nicely done, that reveal. We were just there for so long. Casey's constantly being told by Pazuzu, like, I want her. Take me to her, let me possess her. And of course we're meant to assume that he wants Kat, because that's the only other her we can think of. Who else would it be? Like, you've gone for the sister that you've kind of been able to get to, but you want the other one. It's only upon the reveal that Reagan, or Angela is Reagan, that we go, oh, that's her. You want to go back. With help, she kicked you out once and you're still sore about that, so you want to take her over again. And it's all this kind of stuff that really makes this work for me. All of this is done in 10 episodes and it never feels like it drags. There is a constant movement to it, and I really love that about this, and the second season, of course, but we're mainly focusing on season 1, which is why I haven't really talked about Kurt Edgewan, I want to say. I apologise if I've pronounced that incorrectly, but he's Father Bennett. He's much more of an important character, I think, in season 2, so I've kind of left him a little to the wayside. But it's interesting here, obviously, this sets him up to be in season 2. But I think the other big thing that I really love about this show is I have my own history with religion, and I'm not saying that, if you believe in something, you're inherently wrong. Obviously, people come to religion for various different reasons, or various different belief systems, even if it's not formalised as a religion. But I just don't gel with it. That's not something that works for me. You do you, is basically my approach to it, as long as you're not hurting others. But I like the idea that, because, power corrupts, no matter who you are. Priests are human too. They're not God. They're just a mouthpiece for God. As you rise up the ranks, cardinals are treated really well, and you start to go, well, this is a nice life, because you're still only human. You're going to confess about it all day long, but you're still only human, and you will have those temptations, and some lean into it, I'm sure. There's not going to be every cardinal in existence has been a perfect human being. That's just not believable or possible, if we're honest about humanity. But I like the fact that they go, well, you are, by default, believers in demons. Because if you believe in God, you have to believe in the counterpoint, the devil. So if you believe in angels, you have to believe in the counterpoint, demons. There was a post, and I can't remember who posted it. It's definitely not mine. I'm not claiming credit, but if someone said, well, I don't. Someone, a Satanist was asked, you believe in the devil, and it was like, well, no, I don't believe in the actual devil. I just don't believe in Christianity. It's like, well, what would you call someone who believes in Satan? A Christian, because by design you have to. I'm not saying obviously that Christians are evil. I'm just saying like it's part of the religion. It's part of that belief system. So the idea that this belief in demons can then let them into the Catholic Church and sort of break it down and destroy it from within, using powerful people as well in the non-ecclesiastical world to facilitate and to bankroll those things, it works. I've recently had a lecture on conspiracy theories, and this isn't a conspiracy theory. It's very well put together. You can see the evidence. This is conspiracy fact, obviously in fiction, but there's no way that you go, no, someone's crazy for believing that, because you can see the evidence build. And again, I'm not saying this is like it in the real world, but I do appreciate how they've done that, and they follow that up in season 2 as well. They delve a bit more into it. And I just love the fact that they've taken William Peter Blatty's original novel and the film and gone, okay, what happens in Reagan's life later? What has been happening behind the scenes? How can we make a more compelling world? The original was Reagan's story. This is something else. And like I said, that's why I think separating them as season 1 and season 2, because this is a continuation of that to lead us then to explore further, which is why season 2 then goes in a completely different area. Feels kind of sad that it took me so long actually to watch this, but I think it was better me watching it now. If I'd have watched it near release, I may not have enjoyed it as much. I think being able to come at it with the psychological underpinnings and my more softened idea about religious belief, because I used to be very bad on it. I know that. I used to be like, how can you be so stupid to believe in something? But I understand why people do it a bit more now. But like I say, season 1 was good. It really set up season 2. It gave us a cap on Reagan's story. And yeah, we'll pick up next week with season 2, which takes us to some troubled kids. So I hope you join me for that and everything coming after. But until then, as always, thank you for watching and take care. The power of Christ compels you.